All right, good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Shamika Stevenson Davison. I am the founder of Pre-College Solutions, a college readiness coaching and consulting company where our focus is not only on getting our babies to college, but also the financial literacy aspect. The more they are prepared, the better financial decisions that they make. And so this workshop is titled The Other Freshman Orientation. As we all know, it is that time of year where our college students are getting ready to either return to college or it's their first time going to college. And so we've titled this workshop The Other Freshman Orientation because there are so many things that an incoming freshman does not even know about college. This is one of the biggest transitions that a high school graduate can make is transitioning to college. So many things happen. The blanket of them having their parent as front and center kind of like fades away. And with that, they also become young adults fully with all the rights and the responsibilities. And so after working with youth, especially youth that look like me for several years, and then hearing how some of them didn't do well with the transition from high school to college, or there was just so many unknowns that they didn't know about. I came up with this workshop titled The Other Freshman Orientation, just so they would understand some of the things that maybe their peers may already be familiar with. And so hopefully for the next 45 minutes or so, we're going to go through the freshman orientation. Feel free to put your questions in the chat. There'll be a part at the end where if you want to take yourself off mute and ask questions, you can do that as well. And remember, this is a recorded workshop and that we will be posting this on other social media platforms such as our YouTube channel and giving you a copy so you can access and send to whoever you would like to. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. And so these are the top six things that we are going to talk about. Now, number five, when we get to Greek life, that may spill on over a few minutes, because that's typically where a lot of young people have questions and things like that about. So I'll try to not linger on that too much. But we're going to talk about the top laws that all college students should know, campus resources they should know, what is the biggest expense, emergency plans, and most frequently asked questions. And so, just a little bit about me, and I'll keep it very brief. I am a believer of God. I believe I'm His daughter, but I'm also a wife, a mom, a chick mom. Yes, I have two chickens. Since the pandemic that we've been raising. I'm also a vegetarian. I'm also a senior youth coordinator for a nonprofit in Dallas called the Dallas Leadership Foundation. I'm also founder of Pre-College Solutions. I'm a native of Louisiana, Louisiana in the house always. And then I'm a strong advocate for education, especially in the college prep and mental health capacity. And I'm also an advocate for health and equality in small businesses. And so let's get started. The top laws that all college students should know. Um, in the chat, what do you think is the number one law that gets broken in college all the time? Like there are so many, but this is the law that uh, all the data shows that this law among college age students gets broken all the time. So you go ahead and put what you think in the chat real quick. Okay. 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 All right. Well, the number one law that gets broken all the time is Sexual assault and sexual abuse, sexual assault and harassment, sorry. That is the number one crime that gets broken at college campuses all the time. When you look at the statistics, it shows that this is mainly the number one um, law that gets broken, and it's also the number one law that doesn't get told the story of why it gets broken all the time. Because young people are in college, there are hormones going on. There's a lot of them don't understand what consent means, and so sexual assault typically happens with this age group a lot. And if that does happen, whether you're male or female, um, a college student should, number one, always tell their parents, always tell their parents, always tell their guardian. That is the first person that you go to when this does happen. The second thing is you go to the police. You always have a police report on file. And then the third person you talk to is you tell the university, but you need to talk to whoever their Title IX coordinator is. So each university by federal government has to have what is called a Title IX coordinator. And that person is supposed to be the buffer between the university and the student. Their job is to make sure that all federal, state, and college laws or rules are conducted and that the college doesn't get overly sued by a student because of certain things and that the student's rights are also protected to where the college doesn't take advantage of a student being in college. And so that is the one of the main roles of a Title IX coordinator. So if sexual assault does happen pretty often in college, they say out of 3 out of 9 female students typically gets sexually assaulted or harassed, and 1 out of 9 out of males. And they said that since the pandemic, there has been a rise in males getting sexually assaulted, and not just by other males, but by females as well. So we need to be looking out for our young ladies and our young men and talking to them about consent and things like that. The second, the second law all college students should know is the FERPA. So the FERPA stands for the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act. And what it basically means is that because a college student, incoming college student, is of age, they now do not have to share their education, any of their privacy or any of their like academic records with their parents or with their guardians. In order for that to happen, the college student must get their parent to sign a FERPA waiver. And that's typically in the admissions office. Usually, it's also done their new student orientation. And what that does is that gives the parents right to have access to the students' uh, transcript, their educational records while they are in college, anything that happens, which includes like financial aid, awards, balances that the student may have. Now, I'm a firm believer that whoever helps pay for college should have the right to look at the students' educational rights and privacy rights, but it's also a family decision. A firm believer that it's a family decision, not just the students. But that is also a federal law, and all college students should know that. Number three, hazing. All right. Hazing is defined as an initiation or rite of passage or a practice that involves embarrassing, humiliating, or harming a person to join an organization. And so, typically on a college campus, when you hear about hazing, you always go to Greek life, but The number one organization on college campusing that participates in hazing are typically athletic teams. So those are the football teams, the track teams, the basketball team, baseball. If you go and look at certain cases that have been reported, they have the highest. It's just not broadcasted enough as it is for Greek life. And so I say to any of you incoming freshmen, any organization that you have to join, where there's a practice of humiliating you, embarrassing you, harming you, that is not an organization that you would want to join. And typically, if this does happen, this is a law that's being broken. This is actually physical assault that is being broken. Hazing is a federal law, so they're breaking a law. So you can go to the police and report it, go to the campus police and report it, and there could be charges brought up on the individual that is doing this to you. So that's another law that everybody should know about. I think these next three are pretty common. We kind of know, what's if you go to college, we know these things. Underage drinking. As of right now, the drinking age in the United States is still 21. And so no one should be drinking alcohol if you are under the age of 21. But to be realistic, we know things happen, parties happen at campuses, people sneak alcohol in and all those things. And one thing that I tell my clients is that you need to be wise with whatever decisions you are making when it comes around the subject of drinking. Because if you are caught on your college campus drinking underage, not only will or they can contact the police and have you arrested, and then your parents will be contacted, but that's also grounds for expulsion or suspension, depending on how the university wants to happen. And what happens if you are expelled um, from a university is that you are kicked off of their campus, and whatever scholarship, financial aid, all the things that you received, that's gone. That's gone. The university is going to keep it. That is gone. And then this is also put on your record. So that means if you try to leave um a certain university, let's say Texas State University, if you try to leave them to go to the University of Louisiana, in Alexandria, then that's going to be on your record. So when they pull up, oh, you're transferring from Texas State University, it's going to show that you participated in underage drinking, and that university can decide if they want you to go to that school or not. So please know we got to be wise with the decisions that we are making. So it's not just jail time or you thinking you're getting a fine or you're getting suspended. It's other things that happens to you could ruin your college dreams. The next law is abuse. Um, I know in some of the youth that I'm working with, and these are not this is not a statistic, this is just evaluation with some of the youth that I've worked with, college students, and participating in smoking in marijuana has become or vaping has become really big in the last few years, and I constantly have to explain to them that it is illegal for you to participate in smoking certain drugs. And because the federal government is like very serious about this, if you are caught in possession, intent to sell, consuming, holding any type of drugs, similar to what's happening with the underage drinking, like you can be expelled from the university, your financial aid can be taken away, it will be put on your report. So if you try to transfer to different schools, they will know that this is on your record. And believe it or not, universities are tougher on drug abuse than they are on the underage drinking. So if it's drug abuse, most likely you will be expelled. You will not be able to get into a lot of these college campuses, and especially when they pull up your report. So please know that with the drug abuse. And another thing about the drug abuse, because I have to explain this to students I work with, is that in certain states, laws are different. In the state of Texas, if you have someone with you in your vehicle that has drugs on them, um, you can get in trouble with them as well, even if you did not know that they had drugs in you. So, for example, if you guys are driving to the store and it's your vehicle and you're driving and you get pulled over, um, and the police decides to search your car, which remember you have to get them consent, and one of your friends has drugs on them, y'all are all getting in trouble. And most likely they can get your car, have your car towed, have your car searched, have your car towed, and all those type of things. So it's unnecessary trouble that you want, especially when it comes to drugs. So please know that. And then the last top law you should know as a college student is assault slash bullying. And that's basically fighting or participating in any type of bullying or intent to harm someone. This is my stance on physical assault. I don't promote physical assault, especially I don't promote bullying. But if you have to defend yourself, because there are moments where you have to defend yourself, try your hardest to take it away from campus. All right. If you can, do not have a fight on your college campus. If you have a fight on your college campus, um, especially if social media is involved, you will most likely the university will remove you from campus. Um, there'll be an investigation. If you're found not at fault, then most likely you won't be removed from campus, but they will suspend you. They will punish you in some type of way. But if you are at fault, you will be expelled for campus. And similar to what I said about the underage drinking and the drug abuse and the assault and all of those things, uh, they will call the police on you. And now you will have a criminal record. And like the other ones, that will follow you to any other thing that you would like to do. And one thing else, when you get a criminal record, like it's not just college that's affected, that's potential jobs that you're interested in. It could be if you ever want to volunteer at certain organizations, like that follows you for the rest of your life. A decision you might have made when you was 19 years old, just making immature decision or a crazy decision or a decision under the influence, which now will mess up the rest of your life. So you got to be on it when you are at college because believe it or not, sometimes you only get one chance. All right, so those are the top laws that I feel like all college students should know as they are going into campus. If you have any laws that you think college students should know and I missed out on them, please put them in the chat. I know somebody put cheating, and cheating is a big deal on these college campuses. It's not illegal, but it's gonna feel like it's illegal when you are on these college campuses. Plagiarism is a really big deal. I've had a client one time, she plagiarized the essay and she the process that that university had was that they make you go to court and defend yourself. And she went to court and she defended herself. But she was guilty, and they expelled her for a semester. So she had to sit out a whole semester. She lost her scholarship. The university had given her. She lost housing. She lost money. She was able to come back after that semester wrapped up, but she had to return home and explained that, now she got sent home for cheating. So, different campuses have different rules. So please know plagiarism is a thing, especially in the age of AI. I've been able to sit on different scholarship committees this past year, and one thing I have seen them implementing is what they call AI checkers, and it tells what percentage of the essay that you guys have been writing is AI. And then if it's a certain percentage, I think one scholarship committee I was on was like if it's more than 20% AI, they just disqualified the essay and never told the student. And so you're thinking you're doing amazing writing these essays, and these professors and all things know that y'all are using AI, and they're not telling you that they know. So, all right, moving to the next thing. I think we got something in the chat. Let me read it real quick. Oh, y'all use turn it in? Okay, okay. Y'all use turn it in. I think the person that I was on the scholarship committee, she was a professor for a community college here in Texas, and I think that's what they use. They use turn it in. She was saying that too. All right. All right. So some of our uh so this is some of the expenses that we need to talk about with our college students. So incoming college students, these are some of the expenses you may not know that you're going to have, but they are coming while you're in college. And what we suggest is like you start figuring out ways to budget or ways how to figure out how to pay for these things. Number one, uh experiences, which is the going out, which are the concerts, which are amazing. Depending on the university you go to, these experiences could be free. Homecoming is a big deal for a lot of college campuses, and mostly everything with homecoming is free. There's concerts that different um, universities bring out, well, artists that different company that different universities bring out and all those type of things, and those are fun. One word of advice we have for this is that when you are having experiences that you set a budget and you set some rules around going out, because going out is fun, but one of the best rules I guess that I remember my mom teaching me was that you come back who you left with. And I think that says values in today's society when like things are happening to so many different people just by venturing out. And people are crazy. People are taking people out at different venues, different things. So make sure that if you go somewhere with a friend group or with some friends that, you guys kind of stay together and that you look out for each other while y'all experiencing these things. Number two, transportation. So I would say if you are bringing a car to college, please make sure you have some type of rules or boundaries that you set when it comes to you bringing your own vehicle to campus. Please make sure you at least tell your friends that they're going to have to give you gas money. I've seen a lot of young people are afraid to have this conversation, but you're gonna have to have it because if your car breaks down, none of your friends can afford to help you fix your car. This will probably be an expense on you or it'll be an expense on your family. So if you become the designated driver of you and your friends while you are in college, you need to definitely charge them. And I know that sounds mean, but you need to charge them. I also recommend that if you don't have a car and you have to consider some type of public transportation, and when I say public transportation, I still mean like Uber, Lyft, all the things. The first thing you should do is you should see if your university provides some type of transportation. A lot of them offer shuttles and things like that at a very low cost. which is amazing. Take part in that, but also share your location with someone in your family, your parents, or either your friends, um, just to be on the safe side. And if you do decide you want to do a Uber or a Lyft, please go with someone. Don't take a Uber or Lyft by yourself unless you are in an emergency situation and you need to take a Uber or a Lyft. The world's getting crazy out there. All right. Moving to the next, family and friends. Family and friends. For a lot of first generation college students, some of them have a mental capacity I won't say capacity, but some of them feel bad about leaving family and friends behind. Some of them send money back to home. Um, and an advice that we give our students is that you have to remember that you're in college to achieve an amazing goal. And that goal that you're trying to achieve is very costly. So it'll be very hard for you to also try to take care of family and friends while you are away in college. And it's going to sound selfish, but you're going to have to be selfish about taking care of yourself so that when you do graduate from college and you hope to get the dream job, you can come back and still support your family and friends financially if that is a goal of yours. But when you are in college, you're just going to have to be selfish. And it takes a lot of students, especially students who have been very dependent on in their households, that takes a very big toll on them. So please know that, and please know that later in this session, we'll talk about how to create an emergency plan so that you can deal with that as well. And so our last little things, because I want to move to the next section, is things you also need to know that financially, they're gonna come into play as a college student, but we also need to set priorities. And so random college material, first always try the library. If you don't can't get it from the library, then you need to try checks. You need to try Amazon. Don't pay full prices for books anymore if you don't have to. Um, I've seen. I wish we had that when I was growing up. We had to pay for books, and books were expensive. And now you guys can rent these things for half the price. So please do that. Please share your resources with other college students as well. Shopping, personal items, hobbies, food, these are some of the things that you can budget for. Don't try to buy these things first. Try to hold off on them and budget them into your budget. What I tell parents is to help their incoming freshmen kind of budget as they are a college student is to send them a certain amount of money a month, whatever you feel comfortable with, and that's it. Do not send them any more than that, and take them off of all of the apps, the DoorDash, the Uber Eats, all the things, Amazon. Take them off of all the apps so you don't just see all these type of purchases made, and you're like getting these statements and things like that, these notifications, because that's how they're gonna budget. And we have to be the first people to teach them how to budget before they go into the real world and they still don't know how to budget. All right. So, as I was talking about earlier, one thing that I also see that our students are not prepared for are emergency planning, because when you're in college, anything can happen. Um, One thing I have seen is that sometimes death happens. And I mean someone that you love passes away. What is the emergency plan for that? If someone you love passes away? A lot of the students, they don't have an emergency plan. They don't know if they're going to move back home. They don't know if they are going to just try to push their way through and suppress it. They don't know that there are resources on campus that they can go to as well, mental health services on campus. A lot of them don't know what to do if someone passes away. And then what if you get sick? What if you get sick on campus? Um, Believe it or not, COVID is still around. And if you get COVID, like, and you are just sick and shut in for a while, what is your plan? What is going to happen? What if you get diagnosed with a terminal illness, or you have a mental breakdown, or your family gets sick, like severely sick? What is your emergency plan for that? And then you always need to have a financial emergency plan because you don't know what can happen. What if you can't afford college? You lose your scholarship, your car breaks down, you lose a job. So I'm not here to give the save all to how you should plan your emergency plans, but I want to tell you from the college aspect what they uh prefer that you do on their end to communicate that with them. So, first things first, if you get sick, if you have financial issues, if there is a death in your in the family, or maybe somebody on your college campus passes away that you were near and dear with, you need to always call your parents or your guardian. Let them know what's going on. They need to always be in the loop. Always be in the loop. And now, if someone you love passes away, your first line of contact needs to be your academic advisor. Typically, your academic advisor is the person that will help take care of notifying your professors if you have a death in the family or somebody you love passes away. While you decide on what decision you want to make, if you decide I want to move back home, like this is hard, I'm gonna take the rest of the semester off, or if you need a few weeks off and things like that. Your academic advisor is who can help you navigate that process and be your go-to person. Now, if you have a sucky academic advisor, then you can go to student affairs, or you can go to your own campus counseling center or office, and they will help navigate through that as well. What I've read is that a lot of students either do two things when somebody very close passes away. They either try to muscle through the semester, which is very difficult mentally, um, or they either decide to take the semester off. So just make sure you make your choices wisely. The second thing is what happens if you get sick on campus. Most campuses have an on-campus medical facility, and with that medical facility, they're going to they're going to try to figure out what your diagnosis is. But if it's beyond what they can do, because they only have so much capacity, then they're going to ship you to a hospital. And remember, I said your parents and your guardians should always be in the loop. So they should know what's going on if you had to go to the on-campus medical facility and if they decide they need to ship you to a hospital. And then if you are sick, mental breakdown, family member, typically it's on you to contact your professors and let them know what's going on and letting them know like you need to be excused because you have all of this going on. Now for the deaf in the family, I said the school will make sure they take care of it. But if you are sick and you are somewhat able, they feel like it's your responsibility to let them know that you are sick. So please know that. And then for the physical, I'm sorry, for the financial aspect, this varies on certain situations, but most college campuses have what they call an emergency fund. And with the emergency fund, some of them the funding is about 500, maybe a little more than that. And they can help you fund whatever emergency it is that you had. Now, if it's you can't pay for college, then you need to go beg the financial aid office and see if they have options for you. But if it's something small, you can't afford a book or maybe your car broke down, you have a flat tire. Some college campuses, like I just said, have what they call an emergency fund. You have to, most part of the time, you have to pay this emergency fund back. But that is something that can get you to through until the next couple of days or weeks or things like that. All right, so this is my favorite part of the other freshman orientation is the most frequently asked questions because these questions typically come from um, students that I've worked with for a long time, and then they end up going to college, and then they have all these different questions and things like that. So I'm gonna try to go through this really, 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 really quick. Um, the first one is where do I meet other believers um at college? And so when I'm referring to believers, I'm referring to people who believe in who have religious preferences. Maybe they are Christian, maybe they are Muslim, maybe they are um uh Pentecostal. Like where do they find their people? And most colleges have different religious, I don't want to call them groups, but different religions on campus. So you basically just need to go to the university's student activities website and just do a quick Google search. I know when I was in college, I participated in the Black, what's it called? The Black Christian Association, or I know there's a FCA, Fellow Christian Association, where that's kind of mostly athletes who are Christians and things like that. So that's where you got to find your tribe. If you are a believer of your religion and you're trying to find and connect with other believers. So you gotta do your own little search and not just on TikTok. The second question is, uh, this is this is my first time living with someone. How do I set boundaries? This is crazy. I was just talking to a client today as she was trying to finish her new student orientation. And so her new student orientation, and so she was asking me like like she's moving into an apartment, and so these were like the top things I told her she should do. I told her that first that first day or first couple of days that she moves in into her apartment is that she need to ask if her and the other ladies, her roommates, can have a group meeting. And with that group meeting, they should bring in some of the boundaries that they want to set for living in a shared space together. And in that shared, space, they should discuss different things such as since they will most likely be sharing bathroom, kitchen, and the living room space, what's the cleaning schedule going to look like? And how are they going to kind of divvy up the cost for keeping that area clean? Um, we I told her she needs to also ask them or discuss with them what's their communication method of communication. Is a group chat gonna suffice? If all of them are in one group chat and they can talk to each other that way, do they prefer talking to each other on the phone, or is it like I just see you whenever you here? Like I see you when I see you. We don't need to do all of that. Like what's the best method of communication for each individual person living in the apartment? Number two, what if one of the ladies has a boyfriend or they like to bring friends over? Like what's the communication looks like to let someone know you are bringing someone over? And if one of them does have a boyfriend or a significant other, like um staying the night, like how does that work? Like is it okay? for, to be everyone to be in agreement if it's okay, if it's not okay, if that person needs to leave by a certain time every night, because it's a shared space. It's not just one person's shared space. We talked about um how does um if an emergency happens, making sure that everyone has everyone's contact information, because if one of them were to have a seizure, who would be able to call their roommate's parents if they don't have their information? So just things like that, setting those type of boundaries, because we want it to be a very cohesive, safe space that all of them are living together, growing, learning, as this is the first time they're living with someone outside of family, making it just, an amazing space where there's not a lot of drama. Um, Next question is, how do I pledge a fraternity or sorority? I'm gonna save that to the end. Um, being homesick, being homesick is a really big deal. Um, a lot of the students that I work with, they seem to get over it over the first month. Sometimes it takes a couple months, but over the first like 2 to 3, no, probably a month. One of the things I tell them is to try to um have a routine with their parents, with their family, maybe talking to them once a day, and then slowly winging themselves off until once a week. That never happens. They typically talk to their parents every day. But having some type of system in place, I told them that it's going to be hard, because just like you are off at college having your like young independent life, y- family doesn't stop. Things are happening and moving and shaking, in family, and it's gonna feel sad to miss that. It's gonna feel sad not to feel like you're included because you're not immediately at home, and you have to be okay with that, because college is only for a short time, 4 years. You can decide if you want to move, back into your hometown city if you want to. Uh, but it will be okay. You'll get accustomed to it as you get more involved in college culture and making friends and joining organizations and making sure you're on top of those grades. You'll be fine. So that's why I tell students about being homesick, and also tell them they can seek a counselor, someone to talk to about if they are getting, just it's becoming overwhelming with how much homesick they're getting. There are mental health counseling counselors on college campuses, already paid, free for you. Take advantage, because it won't be free after you leave college. It will cost money. So take advantage. The next one is, how many times can I change my major? I tell the kids they can tell that you can change your major as many times as you want, but every time you change your major, you are staying at college longer. So if you started off wanting to be an architecture, but now you decided you want to be a nurse, just know those classes you took trying to be an architect, they are void. They will not count anywhere towards you trying to be a nurse now. So that means um you're delaying when you're gonna graduate. So you can change your major as many times as you want to, but you are delaying when you're going to actually get out of college. And if you are getting funds from the government, they have a 6-year time limit that you can be getting funds from them. And then after that, if you don't have a degree, they will not help fund your education. So please know that as well as you're trying to figure out what it is you truly want to do, but you're already at college. Um, the next one is, I don't like it here. I want to transfer. What's transfer process? The transfer process is similar to when you decided you wanted to apply to the university you are at now. You you basically are doing that process over again, applying to the university that you now want to transfer to, waiting to see if you get accepted, and then once you get accepted, Now you have to tell the university that you are currently at that you no longer want to go there. Now, this is what I will say about the transfer process. If you do not decide to up and quit going to a university once the semester has started. All right, you need to finish whatever semester you are in, even though you hate it, even though you want to leave. You need to finish it successfully, and when you finish it successfully, then you can transfer. So while you are finishing the semester successfully, you need to be applying for the university you want to go to so that once the semester ends, it's a smoother transition for you to kind of go ahead and transfer to the school that you're interested in. You basically have to do both processes at the same time. Like stay at the university you are at, make sure you're still making good grades, don't flunk out because you need that good GPA to transfer, but also start applying, start getting all the stuff in, and start, you know, moving on out so by that next semester you can be done. And then the last question, how do I pay for college as a student? Oh, this is fun. See, I like that question. Um, you basically can become what is called a residential advisor, which you can live on campus for free, get free meals, um, but you will be over a dorm or you'll be over a group of students to make sure that they are adjusting to living together and building community at the dorm. Um, at the dorm. So that's my number one way. If you can become a RA, that will save you so much money. Number two, get internships. Number three, please make good grades so that you can continue to get scholarships from the university you are attending or external scholarships because believe it or not, these universities, they get scholarship dollars from alumni, from the community, and they give it to the people who are doing well academically and who applies for their in-house scholarships by the deadlines. But you need to have the grades because that's who they give it to, the people with the grades. So make sure you are doing that. And then you can also work. A lot of people don't believe this. You can work while you're in college. I don't suggest working two or three jobs while you're in college, but maybe one good job, one good part-time job. Find jobs that do tuition reimbursement, where you'll pay for it, but then they'll reimburse you um, at the end of the semester with how much you ended up paying for the school. Those are my top ways. There are some more, but those are my top ways. All right. And so, thank you for participating in the other freshman orientation. You can follow us at Pre-College Solutions if you have other questions and things like that. No, I didn't forget about the Greek part, but I know some people, they may be already familiar with Greek life, so they may be like, I don't need to be on this call. I know what Greek life is and all that good stuff. So I want to give them a way to, be like, okay, this is what I wanted to hear, the meat and potatoes. The Greek part is just extra. And I'm gonna go through it really quickly because it's almost 6 o'clock. So gonna switch out.
You breaking up. I don't know if it's us, but we can't hear.
Oh, you didn't hear what I said? Hmm. Can you hear me now?